Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for taking time out of your Saturday to help raise awareness for such an incredible cause, the Victoria Women's Transition House. Our next presenter is incredible. I met her by chance when she was working downtown. She served me a drink, and I feel like the rest was history. Her name is Tasha Medve, and before I introduce her and let her take the floor, I just feel it's really important to share with Tasha. She's a realtor at the Modern Real Estate team with LePage. She's going to talk about real estate trends and giving back and tips and things like that in real estate. But one of the things I want to share about Tasha is that I went to an event that she had for Raise the Roof Shelter Foundation through her Modern Real Estate team. And that was actually the first time I was exposed to the Victoria Women's Transition House. And that was somewhere around 5 or 6 years ago. I can't quite remember exactly when, or 7 or 8 years ago, because you've been doing it for a long time. And what she did to give back was so inspiring. It was so incredible. It just made me realize the passion that I need to follow. And that's kind of one of the ways Women Empowered came to life, because of Tasha's incredible contribution to this incredible cause. And I'm so honored that you're here today to share with the real estate, all of that stuff in your expertise, but also to be a part of something so incredible. So thank you, Tasha. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tanya. That is so sweet. I'm just trying to see myself because I don't know if you guys can see.
We can see you.
Okay. I love how I can't see myself.
I think if you go to like the top icon, you press on like the 2. There's like looks like steps. Press on the 2 and you can see you. Okay, the floor is yours, Tasha.
Okay, I'm just gonna go anyways because I feel like I don't need to see myself. Well, thank you, Tanya. That was the most amazing intro. You know, I think I served you a drink and we both just felt like we needed to know each other in our lives, which is just so special. And I think we have to go back to, you know, a Women Empowered event is all about women helping each other. And I am so honored to speak today because I started a real estate team and we are a women team, and to help each other and empower each other in a really dominant career by men. And now we're like this group of women that are just helping each other because we don't get mat leaves. We're helping each other through having time off and having this balance. So yeah, I'm really excited to speak today. And if you wanted to head to the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit. There should be an about me slide at the beginning there. Maybe we went past it by accident. Is there one that's before? Oh, it didn't come through. That's all good. So I have been a realtor now, I guess, for 8 years, coming March. And so I work with LePage, but we started the Modern Real Estate team about 6 months after. So my business partner and I started it, and we've grown from 2 people to 5 people, and we have 2 other realtors on our team and a full-time operations manager. And our team has grown from 2 people to 3 people to 5 people and 6 babies later. So it's kind of fun. We've all been able to help each other through maternity leaves. I have 1 baby, and my business partner has 2. Our operations manager has 2. Another one has 1. And it's been really cool to help each other in business here. So that's been really cool. My background's in marketing and broadcasting. I did my broadcasting diploma in Vancouver, and I did a marketing diploma in Vancouver as well. And I decided to be a realtor because I bought and sold in Vancouver. I loved the experience, but I wanted to give an incredible experience. And I was able to put all my passions together So I can, I can do fundraisers, like you said, and I can do videos, and I can do all these different things, and help people through the biggest financial decision of their lifetime. And so I take a lot of joy from that. I grew up in Nanaimo, so I'm an island girl and been in Victoria for 8 years. And yeah, I also have an eco blog. It was really cool listening to Sarah, was it, who spoke before? And she's really trying to do like zero waste and do all this really cool stuff, and plant-based, and my family's become plant-based in the last few years. And so I did start an eco blog a couple last year. And so it's been really fun to meet different people that are trying to create more sustainable homes and eco homes. And I love to talk to my clients about that and grow their own food and garden. And I just get to help people, create their own space that's right for them. And it's just really, really cool. Thanks, Sarah. So there is a chat. As I start my presentation here, I want to let everyone know to ask questions as I go, because real estate's complicated. But if you have a question, please ask. And Tanya, if you don't mind, just let me know that a question's come in, and we can read it out and make sure I answer it as we go, so that they don't forget. But I'll also do a Q&A at the end. Okay, so we'll go on to the next slide here. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about market trends. Everyone's seen real estate go a bit crazy this year. It was 2 weeks of not knowing what was going to happen, and then it was, then everyone decided what they wanted in life. And I think this year we have a huge, we had a lag. We had 2 months of spring break where nothing was selling, no one was doing anything. We were really nervous to go into each other's homes. And then everyone just decided, hey, I think we should, I think we need to buy and sell. Either their place is too small because they started working from home. People decided to retire earlier this year from all across Canada. So we've had more out-of-town buyers this year than we've ever had. I was actually talking to a neighbor who does pension plans for police officers, doctors, and teachers. And she said they were bombarded with calls for people to call and who called and said, how much, if I retired this year, what's my pension difference? Like, people were actually thinking, I'll just take X amount of dollars less per month because I'm ready to retire, and I'm not going to work another 2 years if they had a 2 or 3 year retirement plan. And that has we've really seen that in the real estate market, where people want to get their next house now, or they're downsizing now. And maybe they're going down to part-time. And so where they live is really, really important. And families, of course, have realized whether their place is too small or not. And if they can afford another house, and I'm going to get into buying and selling today, I just really, really want to educate people on what I'm seeing and talk a little bit about being a buyer and being a seller. But I'll also ask a lot of questions at the end if anyone has questions about the market or if it's specific to them. Another thing that we are seeing is the construction downtown. I'm sure you've all seen how busy it is with condos, and the rent is really going up, and it's really sad to see. But there's a lot of new condos being built downtown, and a lot of them people are purchasing as second places to rent out. So we're seeing a lot of condos being rented downtown, and out-of-town buyers buying those and holding on to them in the hopes that they'll come and move here in the future, or rent it out for 2 to 3 years, and then maybe come here part-time. Other trends that we're seeing is single-family homes the prices keep increasing. People want their own walls if they can afford it. And the prices have gone from around $825 to $875 for the average house. And that's from Sydney to Souk. The Victoria real estate market mostly focuses on Duncan to Sydney. And our whole team works in that whole region, and we have different people that work in different regions. Um, and what we're seeing is people are getting pushed out of town and deciding they want rural properties or they want more space, and they're willing to get more bang for their buck outside of the city. And some people really, really want to be walking distance to stores. So I think people are really writing a list now of what do they want in their home, what do they want in their lifestyle, and real estate has completely shifted to lifestyle and not just location. That's what location comes with that, but we kind of draw a picture out with our clients and we see what kind of lifestyle do you want, and then we decide, okay, where are you going to live? Are you laughing at me, Tanya? I'm just going to see if there's any more. Is there any questions right now? No. Okay, perfect. And so I think I'll go to the next slide and talk a little bit about buyers. Okay, so first step is, so being a buyer, if you're thinking about buying a place, whether you bought a place or not, it's really, really important to get a pre-approval. And what that means is you are going to the bank or you're going to a mortgage broker and you are giving them financial statements, you're giving them your tax returns. They look at all this information. Some people go online and find a mortgage calculator or say, oh, my bank said I can afford this. Before we look at property, you have to get an actual approval from someone who's looked at documents, because the mortgage rules have gotten so tight where people last year could have afforded $800,000 with the same down payment. This year, they can only afford $725,000 because the rules have gotten so tight and the debt ratios have changed. So if you have a little bit of credit card debt, if you have a car payment, all those are going to hurt your pre-approval amount. And I think we're having more and more people be disappointed with their pre-approval than excited about their pre-approval because the rules have changed so much in the last year. So if you're thinking about buying, the first thing is getting a pre-approval, either speaking to your bank. I'll touch on mortgage brokers because bank has their own mortgage brokers. And if you go with your bank, they have access to their products only. And if you work with a mortgage broker, they have access to all the banks besides Royal Bank. Royal Bank is its own and no one else has access besides Royal Bank. So if you're with a bank that you really want to stay with, great. But a mortgage broker can go through all those, they can apply to all the different banks so that you can see if there's a better rate for you that your bank isn't offering. As you can imagine, it's very competitive and certain banks give back to their clients. So I know Royal Bank, if you're a first-time home buyer, they'll give you $1,000 cash back at the end to help with lawyer fees. So you really have to, it really takes time, I guess, to purchase a place and get prepared before you purchase a place. And that's what our team's all about, is educating. We meet with each buyer before we obviously show them homes, and we go through a whole buyer guide from the whole buying process, all the costs to buying. Because some people don't realize you need a down payment, but you also need money for inspections and lawyer fees. And if you're buying over $500,000 for a first-time buyer, you have to pay a property transfer tax. And if you bought a place before, property transfer tax can be about $10,000 if you're purchasing a $600,000 place. So people need a down payment plus sometimes $15,000 just to buy. So it's really important to work with a real estate team that you feel is empowering you, that's educating you, and you feel that you know all the answers to all your questions, because it's really important to feel to set you up for success. And the cost, so I touched on the cost of buying and things to consider. A lot of people are thinking about strata, because strata means you either own a condo or townhome. So you're in an attached place, whether there's 5 people in that complex or whether there's 100 people in the condo. Because stratas are, obviously it's turnkey. You don't have to think about any maintenance, and you can find some townhomes that have 1,500 square feet with little yards, and you can just focus on your lifestyle, your family, and you don't have to maintain. But a lot of people don't realize the extra cost to strata, the pet rules. You're only allowed 1 dog or 1 cat, or sometimes 2 dogs or 2 cats. They have size restrictions. Some places don't allow rentals. There's about 40% of condo buildings in town don't allow rentals. And I think people don't realize that, and they see a really cheap condo and they go, oh, but then you can't have barbecues, can't have any pets, can't have any rentals. And so then people realize, wow, there's not as much product or inventory that I thought there was for them. So I think it's just really important to talk about all these things before you start looking. And then when you're thinking about buying a house here in Victoria, it depends if you're looking for a fixer-upper or if you're looking for a new home, because if you, some places are really, really updated inside, and it's a 50s home and it's solid, but the roof isn't great, or the perimeter drains. Perimeter drains are a piping system around your home that takes your water out away from your home. And there's all these kind of non-sexy items that our team always points out. And we're like, okay, we got to do inspection for that. We have to do inspection for that, because the last thing we'd want is for you to have a 30 grand bill the first winter you're in your home. So when you're buying a house, you have to really consider what sort of product you want to purchase. Do you want to buy an older home or a newer home? What does it mean for a house prior to 1991? As that means asbestos could be in your home. So if you're thinking about a renovation, you should do an asbestos test. And if your home is older than 1970, we want to do an oil tank scan. So there's so much we go through on our first time home buyers presentation. And we just give you a lot of information so that you can really go, okay, what do I want? What's the best fit for myself? And there's just no surprises during the process. And the other thing I want to touch on is multiple offers, bidding wars. Everyone's going, oh, things are going over asking price and this and that. A quick little rundown. I mean, what a multiple offer means is the seller has looked at more than one offer. So they've looked at 2 or 3 offers at one time. The seller makes a time to present with the realtor, and the realtor will present all the offers at once. And you don't know what other people are bidding, and you're just putting in your best offer and you're hoping that they'll work with you. And it's extremely stressful. Sometimes we're seeing up to 20 offers on one house. And there's different strategies to win in multiple offers as well. It's not just price. But multiple offers are happening, and they are like a closed bid. You don't know what people are bidding, and you're just kind of putting in your best price. The other thing with multiple offers, keep in mind this year, more than any year, people have had to buy first and sell, or sell their place first and then buy. So if someone has a condo and they want to purchase a house, and they have to sell that condo, but they knew they wouldn't win in a subject to sale offer, they had to put in an offer and then sell their place in three months so that they can have both places. So they've had to underprice, and I've seen a lot of underpricing happening this year for multiple offers. So maybe it went 25 grand over asking, but that place was worth that. They just needed a bidding war because they had to sell fast. So there's been some people listing high and then reducing, and there's a pricing strategy of putting it on lower and hoping for a bidding war. So it depends what strategy you're going to do, but it's up to your realtor to educate you through what that seller situation is. And I will touch on buyers now, or sellers now, Tanya. Okay. All right, as a strategy for a seller, or for sellers, it's all about strategy. You have to know if you can sell first and then buy, or if you can buy first and sell. I think it's really important to know all your costs. So even as a seller, you should still go to your bank and whoever your mortgage is with and understand all the costs associated with selling, because some people might have mortgage cancellation, mortgage penalties. Some people might have, they might be locked in for a certain time, so they can't bring their mortgage over to the new place. So as a seller, the first thing we tell them to do is go to their bank, figure out what their mortgage is, what's left, and what the rules are with their mortgage, and if they sold, and if they can buy next, because a lot of people might have to sell first and then buy. So you have to decide, if you sell first and you're going to go look and buy, there might not be inventory in that 3-month period after you sold your place and before the buyer moves in. So we have to go, plan A is perfect world, you sell, move into the next place on the same day, and you're only owning one home at once. But plan B is renting a place because you haven't found a place yet. And plan C is always, if you can, buy first and then list your place. So the biggest thing is figuring out what strategy is best for you and your family, and what your finances allow you to do. And when you sell a property, your costs are still, you still have a lawyer fee. When you're a seller, that's who pays the real estate fees. So as a buyer, you're just paying the property transfer tax and a few other costs like lawyers and inspections. As a seller, you're paying the real estate fees. So depending on your home, that can depend your net proceeds. So we always do a net proceed sheet for our clients so they can see all the cost to selling. If we sold at this price, this price, this price, what's their net proceeds? Because at the end of the day, it's really important to know what you need, what you want to take home to make sure that it's the right decision for you. And then pricing strategy, of course, is what pricing the seller decides to do. Do they want multiple offers? Do they want, and even if they want multiple offers, doesn't mean I can get them multiple offers. Every month it's changed this year, and we're just going with the flow. I mean, at the whole world, every week they've just gone week to week. So this year it's really about picking a price and picking a strategy the week you're going to list. And that's what we've been doing this year to make sure that we aren't overpromising or hoping for a certain expectation and that next month it changes. So it's important to be flexible as a seller right now. But in Victoria in general, we are in a seller's market. It just depends the type of product you have and where it is. And with picking the right realtor, I think we have a list of questions that we give our clients to make sure that we know what they really want in a realtor. And I think everyone should ask that to the realtor. Everyone, when they're interviewing realtors, they should say, you know, this is what I expect with realtors. This is what I'm hoping for. This is the experience I want. And it's up to the realtor to make sure it's a customized approach. And that's something that we've really focused on this year, because everyone communicates differently. Some clients just text me only, no, don't want to call. And some people want email. And I think it's really important to pick a realtor that works with your, with how you like to communicate, but then also asks a lot of questions. It's really important for us to know why you love your home. What kind of lifestyle do you have at this house? Because that's how we're going to sell it. We're going to sell it with the lifestyle that people are going to enjoy when they live in your home. Does the sunlight come through this window in November at like 9:02 in the morning and you get this perfect sun? Like, we want to know these little details, because it is all in the details when we're listing a property, so that we can really, really sell it for our sellers. And when is a good time to sell is always the biggest thing that people ask us. And I'll always say it's when the right time is for you. I would never say sell now. If you're thinking about selling, I will ask a million questions to see if it's the right time. Because some people think they should just sell to capitalize on the market. A lot of people asked us this year, hey, what's my place worth? So that they could make a decision for themselves. So I think it's really, really important to only sell when you're ready, when you need to. And I think here there's a few, is there some questions in there? Tanya, I love that you asked questions. Oh, thanks, Tanya. I think it's really, really important to ask questions. And so I think for us, we need to customize it for you and really make sure that you're comfortable throughout the process. I think that's just number one. Communications number one. That is why we have a full-time operations manager. She is like our client care coordinator. She is making sure that everyone feels really comfortable And if our sellers have a question, and then she can answer it right away, Monday to Friday. So I think it's really important if you're thinking about selling to talk to a realtor sooner than later, because if you're not sure if you think if you should sell, it's important to get a realtor involved to help you through all of the decision making, because we can let you know, hey, you should probably do this, this, and this, and this. And get your pre-approval organized or get your banking organized. We bring a staging consultation. We do staging consultations for our clients. And it's not to bring in a whole bunch of new furniture and get rid of your furniture. She just helps make sure that it looks Pinterest worthy, because everyone wants to live in Pinterest right now. So it has nothing to do with what you have. It's just she knows what it should look like from a lens of a camera. And she'll say, oh, move this pillow here. Let's move this couch here for feng shui. And we work with our clients' furniture. And if we have to bring in things, we bring in things here and there for pops of color or a plant. So it's really important to talk to a realtor early if you think about selling, so that you aren't in a rush. Like if you give us 2 weeks notice, it's going to be a rushed 2 weeks to get your place on the market, because there's a lot of marketing that goes involved, because 98% of buyers see it online before they actually go and see your place. So it has to look good before you list the property. And I think the biggest thing our sellers ask us is just they want to know the whole experience. So I think it's just really important for you guys to make sure that you are interviewing a realtor or two, or someone that you feel comfortable with, and making sure at the end of the day you're getting all your answers. So I hope that helps for if people are thinking about selling. See if there was any questions here. How do you go about finding out if a realtor is right for you? Is it considered decent practice to shop around and see if a realtor is right fit? I think that is such a great question, because we are in competition all the time. It's part of our job. And I don't think you should feel bad for interviewing other people. If you are really we create our clients and they're extremely loyal to us, but we've won them over because of our processes and they want to work with us. So if you don't have someone you trust that you know that you're really comfortable with, then it is absolute best practice to interview more than one person, because at the end of the day, I just want everyone to have a good experience. And if someone's referred to you, that is key. Our whole, I would say 90% of our clients are repeat and referral. We work hard at helping our database be empowered with different tips of living in their home each month. We do an e-report for our clients. We do gift client appreciation parties, because there are people and we want to work with their people. So I think that by being referred to people, is one thing, but you have to make sure it's the right fit for you. So I think that hopefully that answers your question. But yes, absolutely, it's not a bad thing if you don't have someone that you are really loyal to, that you've worked with in the past, that if you don't have a realtor that you really love, then I think it's important to have more than one opinion. Okay, I think I'm going to go to the next slide now, but please keep asking questions as you guys go along here. Oh yes, I'm going to touch on buying and selling at the same time. Most people have a place if they haven't bought before. If you have a home right now and they want to move up, that's been our biggest thing this year, is downsizing and moving up, which means if you have a condo or a townhome, you want to move into a house. If a downsizer wants to move from an acreage into a small home or a townhome, buying and selling is all about a strategy, and it's about knowing your finances, which I touched on before, because there's probably 7 different scenarios that could happen, and you have to know plan A, B, C, and D, and be okay with each plan depending on what's going to happen. If you say, I want to know what I'm going to net out of this house before I buy the next place, because if it's a 50 grand difference, that might really dictate what you're going to purchase the next property for. Then we have to be okay with selling first, depending on how long that takes, asking the buyer hopefully for a long 3-month close, meaning you're going to sell your place one day, but in 3 months that buyer moves in. So during that 3-month period, you're going to shop for the next place and hope to buy that next place in that 3 months, but that might not happen. So then you have to rent. You might have to rent for 6 months. Do you get a 3-month Airbnb? We constantly help our clients get rentals right now because our inventory is so low. We should have 2,500 listings and we have 1,500 listings in Victoria. That is houses, condos, townhomes. That is about 1,000 listings short than we're normally used to. So I can't guarantee that if you sell your house, you're going to have an option you're going to find a place in that 3-month period. So I think that is just really, I just think that's really, really important to know what you're okay with. And so if that's what you want, then we're going to get an Airbnb and we're going to plan for a rental. If we don't find a place about a month before a buyer's moving into your house, then we're going to find a rental, and maybe we're going to do a 3 months, maybe a 6-month. Rentals are not easy to find. However, if you find a place that has a year lease or a 6-month lease, I have found it very easy for our clients to break that lease and give them a good month or 2 notice. They'll find someone else. The rent keeps going up, or you can do Airbnb month to month. So I find that people just have to be ready for plan A, B, and C, because in a perfect world, it could all work out, but there is a lot of people that have to rent in between buying and selling. And if you're a seller and you're thinking about buying first, then it might take 6 months to find something. And then once you found something, then you can put your house on the market and then we list it. And there's times where we can tee up the dates so that you are buying and selling on the same day, but there's times where it's a month crossover. And if there's a month crossover where you have your buying home, the home you bought and your house you sold for a month crossover, you need to know that cost of, it's called bridge financing or interim financing, and what that means for you and your costs. So there's so many different scenarios when you're buying and selling. And so you really have to talk it out with a realtor about all your different plans and what you're comfortable with. And if you need to buy first or sell first. And what else did I have in here? Oh yeah, it's basically about knowing your risk levels. Like, what is your risk? Like, are you okay to buy the next place and before you know what you're going to sell your place for? And that could be a 6-month period and your place might go for a little bit less than we thought, or maybe it went up. Like, you always got to think of the positive. So you have to decide what your risk levels are and what your financial situation is, and really just talk about it and be real with yourself and in your situation, and do the right thing for your family. Because it isn't just a slam dunk that you can buy and sell in those 3 months if there's not enough inventory. I think there's some questions here, which I was going to look into. How effective do you think door knocking on people's doors are to see if a homeowner wants to sell? Great question. I have never door knocked in 8 years. I don't like when people come to my house, so I have never door knocked. And it's not that it's not good. I think that everyone has different styles. Everyone has different ways to approaching clients and prospecting for clients. So if people want a door knock, I think they have to own that. They have to have valuable information to go to someone's home and talk to them about it. So I think that it's effective for some people. I know some people built their whole career on it. It's not the practice that I chose to do. So that's my little tidbit there. Okay, someone just said a family member just changed realtors because they wanted an area expert. They ended up saving money on their next place. So really, really great question about specializing in different areas. And that is why we have grown a team to focus on certain areas. I don't do much Langford to Souk and Duncan because I'm not living in it full time. I'm not up to date with all the new construction. And I think it is really important to work with a team that does know the area. And so Sonia on our team and Lindsay, they mostly work there with buyers because they know all the townhomes and condos that are going up. Sarah and I work a lot more in the core. Victoria is not huge to just specialize in one municipality. We're 13 municipalities. But the flip side of that, I think you have to actually look at how many sales does that realtor do. Because when we do over 120 sales in a year, I have a certain amount of sales I'm doing in Cordova Bay, but I might be working mostly in Oak Bay, Victoria right now, but I know the area. So it's interesting when people feel like if you work with a realtor in Souk in Sydney, they're not going to know the market in Sydney. So I think you just have to. I think it's a good thing to ask the realtor, like, "Are you comfortable? Do you know this area?" And really just make sure that that person is comfortable in that area. Because it is really important to know how to negotiate and what places are worth. But again, Victoria is quite small, so it just depends where that realtor works and how many sales they do. So it really, really is important to work with realtors that are the top 20% in Victoria, because they know all the trends and what's happening. So it's also the other thing is just knowing when you're going into lots of properties, the whole thing about doing enough sales, I'm not saying everyone has to do 100 sales a year, but if they go into enough properties, they're working with enough clients, that's how we know value. So I go in when we have an accepted offer on a place, or we're still showing it. I'm still showing it to my clients because it's important for them to see places, but I'm always seeing inventory too. So I know what a place is worth once I go in, and it's a lot easier to do an analysis that way for our buyers and sellers. Okay, so.
Hey, Tasha, these are all really great questions. And I love how we have a lot of questions, a lot of interaction.
Oh my God, it's 26 already, holy.
Yeah, so I really don't want to take away from your expertise, or that people are really, I'm getting a lot of private messages too about all the questions. So I'm wondering if you can stick around after and stay on the chat and answer everyone's question. I know that everything you're saying is incredible and that everyone wants to know more. I wish we had more time to have you you could speak for hours. It's awesome. And I love that your passion is just, it's exuding. So I'm wondering if you could stick around after in the chat, because I see that there's quite a bit of questions coming in. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that. And then my last slide was about giving back, and I'm happy to maybe send you guys some information that how our team gives back, because we raised 60 grand in the last 5 years for women's shelter.
Yes.
So I'm happy to help you. And I just want to educate everyone if they're thinking about doing fundraisers too. So maybe I'll send you something and you can post on Instagram, because I'm happy to answer questions if people are thinking about fundraisers.
No, I love that. And also you mentioned that you were going to have a little something for everybody who's watching, just like little tips and tricks that we can send to them. If anybody wants that, we can post your email address up on there so they can email you more questions. And if they want to get that, that little tips and tricks packages you talked about. And also you had something you wanted to give away to everybody, to one lucky person.
Yes. So I think I'm guessing you're going to send the participants list, and then I'll pick somebody. And I have $50 to Ash Refillery, which is a sustainable shop in Cook Street Village, and I love them.
Wow, that's incredible.
They're so great. Yeah, so people can start their sustainable life there. So I have $50 to give away to somebody. I figured I will put all the names in like a random picker, and then I can put that in here in this chat.
That'd be great. Yeah, so I'll get Whitney, who's behind the scenes, to put everybody who was on this chat in a name, and then we'll pick it later today when we do our door prize giveaway, and we can have you back on then if you can, or just let us know who you picked, and then we can let them know. But yeah, this is definitely some incredible information, and I want everyone to see it. So you put your email address up there, and so we'll get anybody who's interested. Stick around. Tasha will stay in the chat room and answer anyone's questions. And then also, if you have any more questions or you want more information from Tasha, send her an email, tasha@modernrev.com. I'm also doing some Instagram live updates, and I posted yours already. So make sure to take a picture of this slide, and then I will get that up there. So, because I think it's really important that everybody knows how much you give back. And like I said, You were one of the inspirations to start this fundraiser. So I really appreciate you being here and sharing your wisdom and your expertise. It's just been incredible.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And sorry, I didn't even know what time it was. I kept talking.
I know, it's just when it's your passion, it's just
Oh,
go on forever. I love it.
I
So,
know.
but you will stick around on the chat after?
Yep, I'll stick around
Okay,
right
so
now.
Tasha's-
So please send some questions along and I'll keep answering. I'll be here for at least 10 minutes. That's no problem.
Okay, thanks, Tash. Oh, that's great. So 10 more minutes, all your questions. I know there's some really good ones in there. And then any other questions, they can email you to the email.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Tasha.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.